Okay, in this video I'd like to review again how we're going to be computing our semester grades based on the weighted scoring system. In class we made up some numbers just guessing on what our performance on our Math Excel and Khan Academy assignments might be. So we said something like this. Let's say in the 4 assignments that we have for this unit in Math Excel, let's say you end up with 90%, 92%, and 86%, and 25% at the deadline. Maybe this one you just didn't finish because you ran out of time. Well, with 4 assignments, there are 400 points available. So what we're going to do is we're going to add those 4 grades together and divide by 400. We'll come back to that math in just a second. For Khan Academy, I also pointed out how the scoring system works there. We said that I'll award 4 points per exercise that's done perfectly and 5 points per video that's watched to completion. Now with the video scores, I'm having trouble exporting that from Khan's website, so this may change. I can easily get your scores from the exercises. That reports nicely to me, but the report on the videos just isn't working real well right now. So we'll revisit that in the future if we have to. So let's say that on the Khan Academy site, let's say we've got about 400 points that are available when you combine all of the exercises and the videos for this unit. And let's say, too, that you earn 325 out of those 400 points. Now, this number could be anything. That was just some value that I picked out of thin air to represent approximately 100 assignments worth around 4 points apiece. Now, the last component of your overall grade comes from your unit test or unit exam. And let's say that this particular unit test has 130 points. This is pretty typical of the tests that I built last year. And let's suppose you earned 95 out of that 130. Well, if we take those 3 scores by the end of the unit, on the left side here we can sum together this numerator. That's going to come out to 293 out of 400 points. We'll leave these fractions as they are for just a second to illustrate my next step. And so this idea of weighted scoring simply means we're applying a weight to these resulting percentages. And our Khan Academy and Math Excel are both weighted at 25%, whereas our tests and exams are worth 50% of the unit score. And we would just simply have to add those together. Now, 293 divided by 400 is the decimal 0.7325. 325 divided by 400 is 0.8125. And 95 divided by 30 is, well, that's a repeating decimal, but I'll go ahead and round it at 0.7308. When multiplied, these two result in 0.1831, 0.2031, and 0.3654. When added together, that results in a 0.7516 or 75.16%. In the examples in class, I actually rounded each of these numbers to the nearest whole percentage before I computed the final result. But as you can see here, when you compare the two, there really isn't that much of a difference. By the time you get to the 3rd or 4th decimal point, we don't change the overall value of a percentage score all that much. So hopefully this illustrates a little bit better how the scoring is going to go, and hopefully it makes sense to you as well. If you had a 73% average on your one homework set, I believe that was Math Excel, and an 81% average on your Khan Academy, and then you scored a 73 on the unit test, well, I think finishing that unit with a 75% does seem realistic, and the math does support that. If we were to take a look at this on a larger scale, when we start accounting for all 5 units of this class, well, here's how those scores might play out. Here again is the Unit 1 scores that I just used as an example a moment ago. And I just made up some other numbers for the other units in this class. Maybe you were on a downward, well, no, I guess this is an improvement on Unit 2. Unit 3 was about the same as Unit 1, and then Unit 4 and 5, you pick it up. So these would be your unit scores.
Good.
Okay, sorry about that interruption. So anyway, we have our unit scores now, 75, 92, 78, 86, and 95. Those are your 5 unit scores. But keep in mind what I also said at the beginning of the year, that your final exam is worth 10% of your overall grade. So the way I'll finally calculate your semester score is essentially give a 90% weight to the grand total of these averages, so 90% weight of these average scores, and then a 10% weight against a final exam. So I used Microsoft Excel to finish that calculation for me, and we can go over that in class if you'd like to see it in more detail. But if these are your unit scores and you finished with an 82% on the final exam, your overall grade for the class would end up being an 85. So again, if you'd like to see this in more example or more detail, I'll pull up the Excel document in class when I see you next. Otherwise, I just wanted to illustrate this to represent or to indicate what your overall grade might be. Thanks for watching.